I am reading Habakkuk right now, and so generally speaking, Habakkuk is a prophet around the times when Israel is being judged, and God chooses the Chaldeans or Babylonians to come and conquer them for their wickedness. And so Habakkuk is having this conversation with God around these things. And something that just from chapter 1, we'll get into different parts of it later, but from chapter 1, something that is interesting to me is how the prophet says, "How long, O Lord, will I call for help and you will not hear? I cry out to you violence, yet you do not save." And just Habakkuk's saying this, that I cry out to you violence, yet you do not save, makes me think that normally when Habakkuk calls out violence or calls for help, God does save. And that's why Habakkuk is writing like, what the heck? I'm calling out to you violence and I'm crying out for help and you're not saving. Like, what is this? So that was just interesting to me that for him to write that, he has the expectation that God would save, and I'm guessing that's from his life experience up to this point, that when he cries out for help, when he calls violence, God does save, and for some reason he's not right now. And with that, so if you keep reading, he's talking about the injustice and lawlessness and all this stuff in Israel, and then God says, like, crazy, but I'm going to have the Chaldeans actually judge Israel. And then Habakkuk's response to that is basically acknowledging that God is God and that he is good and that he's trustworthy. And he says in there, "So are you not from everlasting, O Lord my God, my Holy One? We will not die. You, O Lord, have appointed them to judge, and you, O Rock, have established them to correct." And so it's so cool to me seeing Habakkuk's faith and trust in God to, like, God knows what he's doing. He is holy. He is Lord. And he says in there, we will not die. He just, like, it's beautiful to me how much he trusts in God's protection, even in the midst of this wickedness. Like, Habakkuk is just seeing things at a higher level, and I appreciate that. And Habakkuk's acknowledging that God has appointed them to judge and to correct. And then Habakkuk goes on to question God of like, why are you choosing these people that are less righteous than Israel to correct and judge us? And it goes on. But so it's just the thing that I wanted to point out was how it seems like in Habakkuk's life up to this point, God has shown himself faithful. When Habakkuk cries out for help, God comes. When Habakkuk cries violence, God comes and saves. And just how much faith and trust Habakkuk has in God, that he knows what he's doing and he is good and he is a protector. So that was just sticking out to me from Habakkuk 1, and we will continue.